Hello there.
Oh, how you doing?
Oh, thank you so much for joining me at this.
No problem.
Okay, because I'm Sherry Oken. I'm a Human Rights Commissioner. I have chaired this event for the last couple of years, and I'm hoping that some other people will join us because it's pretty hard to plan something like this if you don't have a team.
Sure. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, my name is Jeff Shu. I'm friends with Cheyenne Ong, so she
Ah,
invited me on to join the
and
meeting.
here comes Cheyenne.
Here she is.
Okay, excellent. Hello there, Cheyenne. Okay, and of course you have the closed captions right across your face. Let's see, let me move it. There we go. Okay. Winnie, we actually scheduled this on a Thursday night because Winnie said that was a good night for her. And then she said she had a performance tonight. I'm not sure. Do you know Winnie Carpenter, Jeff?
I don't know her now.
Okay. Well, she was another community member, not on the commission, who worked very, very closely with me for the last 2 years, and Cheyenne putting together. Well, 1 year was all virtual, last year was live, which was quite exciting. And I've already, and let's see if I can pull it. I don't know if I can get it up on the screen, but this, let's see. I'm going to do a share screen because I want to show you. This is this year's banner and theme. Advancing leaders through opportunity. Can you see that?
I can. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So that we will use that banner in our publicity as well, because that's the one that I've seen. And let's get back in here. Oops. Let's see where the screen's open. No. Into that. Let's see. Okay. Come on, enlarge again. I can't seem to get my screen to enlarge. I'm not sure why not. Very interesting. Okay, well, anyway, you were very small on my screen. I don't know if you were small on me, if I reduced all of you. Okay, our challenge is to put on an event that represents the diversity of the AAPI cultures. And that is everything from the Mediterranean all the way to the Pacific, south to the Indian Ocean. So it's a really, really big challenge. This year, I will tell you happily that I applied for and got a grant so that if there are performances that, like last year, we couldn't have this, we didn't have the money to pay them, we could possibly have some amazing dance troupes come in, because I do actually have some money to spend. Now, I can't spend every bit of the grant, but I can spend some. And like, for instance, last year I found out, talking about the western part of Asia, that they're, through the Armenian Center, they have student musicians and dance troupes. 2 years ago, we had a video of South Asian Bollywood type dancers and traditional Indian dancers. And Cheyenne, did you hook us up with that one? Was you the one? And
I did, yeah. That was through the Academy of Creative Arts in Burlington.
okay. I'm going to write that down. Because if they require a fee to perform, we could conceivably have, a performance by them. We could, and the thing we have to decide is what is the best way, again, to commemorate all of these, or a variety of cultures, a diversity of cultures. And I realize that both of you think more in terms of South Asian cultures. And that has been the easiest to, because of Cheyenne and Winnie, the easiest to put together. And of course with you as well, Jeff. 2 years ago, when we did everything virtually, we had cooking demonstrations, because we went out and videotaped people. We had dance troupes, we had musical performances, and everything was virtual. We can have things like that live, either in one event or in a series of smaller events over the course of the month of May. I will tell you, I am going to be away in May for a good portion of time because my oldest granddaughter is graduating from college. And we're going out to the Midwest to see the family. So in terms of my preferences, if it's going to be, well, last year I had COVID. And Cheyenne, Winnie, and the rest of the committee did a fantastic job of putting everything together that we had planned. And we had this one day event, at the AmeriCorps Center. So here's the other challenge is, do we have something that we have over a course of days, different events, or do we have one event that has over several hours? We can't, of course, do the whole of Asia, but different performances from different parts of Asia. Your input on this. What do you think people might enjoy? And what do you think is possible considering that we're a very small team?
Yeah, well, that was my first thought, is that seeing that there's only 3 of us here, and it sounds like there's a 4th maybe.
Yes,
Well,
Winnie.
a definite 4th. It seems to me that a small team, it's easier to do one day than to spread it out. That's my initial thought, though. You feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I would think.
Cheyenne, how do you feel about
I
it?
agree. I agree. I like things more like you said, either, one day where we do it all, because it takes so much time to set up, right? Cheryl, remember we had to set it up. And so I think just from planning, it might be easier.
Okay, and I will tell you that neighboring communities have expressed interest in working with us on this, except they think that we're going to do everything and then they're going to jump in. At least that's what it sounds like. And for me, if we're going to do it with neighboring communities and have multiple events, each community would be responsible for putting on one event or 2 events, and then we cross-publicize all of our different events.
Yeah.
And then that would work well.
Sherry, I thought that the Melrose was going to join us today. I guess they couldn't make it last minute.
No, they couldn't.
Okay.
That no one, well, the person who was interested could not make it because she was working on she's working on Pride Month right now. I mean, I just finished International Women's Day. I mean, I just had enough time to catch my breath because that was a big event too. And I am not working on Pride Month. I'll go to everything, but I'm not working on it because once we finish with this, I need to catch my breath again before Hispanic Heritage starts for the fall. Because there's so much stuff. The other thing,
like the idea. I definitely like the idea of having a lot of communities kind of pull together an event instead of just one town doing it. I think it's an awesome idea. It's about time. And if we do have more communities wanting to join, then it makes sense, maybe spread it to like a weekend, like, day 1, day 2. But
yes.
That's about it. I think that's the max that we would do.
And the thing is with the different communities, they have nothing right now. They have one, I think it was it Reading or Melrose. They were doing something related to it wasn't Ramadan, but it was a Muslim holiday. It started with an I, and I can't remember what it is now. They have some sort of special dinner or meal. Maybe it was a fast breaking meal. That might be it. They had one evening they did a fast breaking.
Is it iftar? Or was it
Iftar, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, that's one of the fast breaking, right? Yeah. So they do that, and that's the only thing they do that is related, but it's not even, but I don't think they even talk about it in terms of it being Pakistani or Indian or Bangladeshi, or the countries that would be celebrating Ramadan or one of the Middle Eastern countries. They just look at it as a Muslim holiday. And I know that, none of the other communities, for some reason, we picked up on it, but maybe because I was willing to do it a couple of years back. But the other challenge we have, and I might as well tell you that this is the actual composition of the whole entire HRC is in flux. I may be one of 2 or maybe 3 commissioners continuing out of 13 as of May 1. They'll be all new.
Wow.
So that's why you're not seeing any of the commissioners right here. Because the people who normally, like Benny, who worked with us last year, and Eileen, who worked with us last year, they're going to be off the commission. there. And one of the other people who worked with us last year actually, after only a few months on the commission, had such serious health issues that she had to stop. Donna Murphy, she had to stop being on the commission. I know Vanessa will help us, Vanessa Westlake, wonderful student leader, will help us on the day. I'm not sure she'll help us with planning, but she'll help us on the day of anything that we do.
Yeah, I think it was that the same person last year too, at the site? I remember she came and helped out, or maybe a different girl.
Yeah, she's a young woman, Vanessa.
Yep.
And she's a terrific volunteer. She's the head of the youth council at the high school. And
Yeah, that's the same one then.
yes. And she will most likely be the official HRC youth representative this May. I'm pretty sure she will be. She is a junior now. She's going to be a senior, and they like to name a senior, and she's already proven that she's a wonderful volunteer. But right now, the reason you're not seeing any of the commissioners is either they are leaving the commission, or they're not sure they are leaving the commission. Their terms might be over. A lot of people's terms are over. And they haven't been, and new people haven't been sworn in. There's a woman whose name is Jatika that I have not met yet, who needs to be sworn in. I think she's South Asian, and I'm looking forward to meet her. But I have to orient her also. We have an orientation that we do, and I haven't had that opportunity. So one centralized event, considering now, as I said, I can contact the people again, because I think they come in full costume with classic instruments. I could contact, and that would be very different if we had something from the far western part of Asia, something from the South Central, and then something from Southeast Asia. Like had 3 different performances, and they could all be dance. And the other thing I will tell you is during the course of the month, we post a lot of stuff. We will, in line with the opportunities theme, advancing opportunities, we will post information on the HRC website and Facebook page about people who are leaders in the Asian American Pacific Islander communities. So we'll post a lot of stuff as well, because it's not just a one-day event. All month long, we will be celebrating the contributions of the people of the community. But do you think that might be, I mean, Cheyenne, how is your lion dance, dragon dance, lion dance coming?
It's a possibility. It depends on the day that we decide. So I think that I spoke to well, couple people, but yeah, I think it really just depends. I think they can do a few minutes, and Jeff is actually part of the parent group.
Okay.
So he can chime in as well. So it really depends on the day, as long as it doesn't conflict with his schedule. We can make something work. I think Saturday would be preferable instead of a Sunday.
Yes.
For now. And like we did last time, I think last year we did it in like around the mid-afternoon, right? And that had a decent turnout.
Yes, we did it like from 2 to 5, I believe. It was 1 to 4 or 2 to 5.
Yeah.
And I think 1 to 4. And I would check the availability of the AmeriCall Center again. Is that ceiling going to be high enough in there?
Oh, for the lion, yeah, it should be fine. Yep.
Okay, would that be something appropriate and fun to do as representing, dance of Southeast Asia?
Oh, absolutely. And we can actually even do some, even on the, I was thinking about this, like the, maybe not the library, but some kind of platform like that outside, because it's, I find that the heritage room is a little small to kind of host, especially if you're going to have a lot more performances and people going in and out. It's just a little small for people to cram all the way in. I know that's the only space we have, but I'm just commenting on the size of the room.
Yeah, I even checked out the Albion Center, but they've put so many petitions and walls in it. It's a lovely gallery, but it wouldn't work for an event like this. The ceilings are high, but the space is too tight. Yeah. And the other alternatives would be if we use the theater at the high school. We could use that. I can reserve the theater at the high school. And that has, as you know, a nice performance area and seating, that's rake seating, so people could actually watch performers come on and off. And that is a larger space if they had it available.
Yeah, Sherry, one year they did the Galvin Middle School did house an international event, and that was, Jeff, I don't know if you went there. It was amazing the first year they did. This was probably 4 or 5 years ago, and they had all kinds of like groups and troops and dances and everything there, and music, and they hosted it actually in the auditorium and also in the cafeteria, and that worked out really, really well. But do you know if the library, is that too small of a space, that room down there? Okay.
Yes, most definitely. When we had the Hispanic Heritage commemoration in the fall, we had musicians and I had professional Latin dance instructors. So we had a Latin dance party in the marble lobby. We would have liked to have had it outside, but the weather was kind of iffy. The year prior, we had the whole thing out on the plaza. And amazingly, it was 60 degrees, moonlit October night. It was magical. It was amazing. But this past year, we had this really lively Latin dance party with instruction. People learned how to dance in the library lobby, but it's not big enough for audience as well as performance. It just isn't.
Unless it's outside, right? On the that
yeah,
little
and I would be hesitant to take a chance with scheduling it the outside, because May, it can be a very wet month, and this would probably be the latter half of May, because right now looks like, let's see, I know the graduation's on the 13th. And it's going to cost us a lot of money to fly out there. We got to go to Chicago, then we have to go to Minneapolis. If this was on Saturday, the 20th or the 27th, those are two dates I can check into. But again, maybe if we're lucky, like last year, as it turned out at the America, the gymnasium ended up being available at the last minute, and which would be fantastic. But,
yeah, why don't we just kick them out? I think they've occupied it long enough.
well, it's a little hard that all those people with paddles, all the pickleball.
Oh yeah, we gotta add more paddles. We gotta outnumber them in paddles.
Okay, well, I'm going to check those two dates with the available spaces, and even like I said, the high school stage area, the theater at the high school might be perfect. There's
Jeff,
plenty
what do
of
you think?
parking.
Are those dates good for you, Jeff?
So 27th is the Memorial Day weekend.
Oh, no
And
good.
that actually works for me, but I don't know if we want to use that weekend. The 20th, unfortunately, Kestrel is not available on Saturday. He's at an all-day event.
And that's one of the dragon dancers?
Yes, that's one of the dragon dancers.
Tell me he's the head.
I'm sorry, what's that?
Is he the head?
Maybe. The pairings switch up every so often. So right now, I think he'd be the tail for Jules, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, like I said, the beginning of the month, the 6th, I could check that.
Are you talking about June?
Yeah, I'm not talking about May.
May,
Has to
okay.
be May. I'm going to be gone
Yeah.
from the 11th to probably the 17th.
Okay.
Which isn't very long, but it's,
Mhm.
that's as much
So,
time as we can take.
Winnie's not here, but I'm not sure if everybody's gonna be out of town, right? That Memorial weekend, are they?
No, I mean, we don't go anywhere on Memorial Day weekend because it's just too much traffic. No, I think
Yeah.
Memorial Day weekend is not, I don't think that many people really leave.
Yeah, I
town.
don't think it's prohibitive to, yeah.
Yeah, but I will check, so I'll check those dates, the 6th, the 20th and 27th. I will check the America, I'll check the high school theater. I'll check and see if there's space at the junior high school. I know the junior high school has that large auditorium, and I kind of like the high school theater a little bit better because you're closer to the performers. They're not on a proscenium stage.
Silly question, but the 29th, of course, the kids don't have school either, and the schools are closed. I'm sure most people are out of work too that day. I don't know. They would be having grills and stuff, but I wonder if that's the day that's good too, because people getting together and it's, or even that whole weekend.
Oh, no,
really
I wouldn't do it on Memorial Day. That would be quite inappropriate.
Oh, yeah, no, you're right. You're
Yeah.
right. I wasn't thinking.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, that's a special day that has to be commemorated in a special day.
No, you're
but
right. I was
But the
thinking just
27th might work. I mean, I'll
Mhm.
check the availability of spaces. And do you want me? I will contact the Armenian people again, because I think that might be something interesting and different. Since you have a contact, Cheyenne, at the Central Academy of Creative Arts in Burlington, can you find out if they are willing to do a live performance of some sort and how much they would charge?
sure, I can ask. Mhm.
Okay. And then, of course, the Dragon Dance is from our community itself. And we can have 4 different acts, but like I'm thinking right now, that at least geographically covers a diversity of different Asian cultures. I know that like through the synagogue, because Israel is considered Asia as well. They probably could bring people to do a wild hora, some kind of, really celebratory dance as well. I mean, there's all kinds of possibilities, but again, I'd like to mix it up a bit. And, and as usual, I'd love to invite Representative Wong, but I don't think in this case it might be as appropriate. And to have him involved with this, if it's going to be a celebration of Chinese achievement through the culture, the dances of different cultures, of not Chinese, but Asian achievement through the dances of different cultures.
Yeah. Sherry, did the yo-yo group get in touch with you?
No, and that actually might be an interesting just opening act at the very beginning, just to warm up the crowd. Is that something? Is that participant? I didn't get in touch with them because you were really actually too early talking to me about that, and I didn't know if I had gotten the grant yet, and I had not. I was in the midst of planning the big March 8th event, but I do have somewhere in my emails information about that. And can you describe a little bit about what that is?
It's Chinese yo-yo, so it's really a troupe. It's a group event, and they I mean, I have to look up the history of that, but it's the big yo-yo, and it's they use a kind of like a 2-stick prong with a rope, and they really glide them. It's a bunch of I don't know, Jeff, if you're the outsider.
It's demonstrations.
It's a performance.
Yeah.
Okay. And how long do they usually perform?
There's advanced, and then there's the intermediate group, and those are the 2 groups that perform. So I would say in total, I mean, if you look at each group, 5-10 minutes at most, when not that long.
So, but that would actually be a really fun thing, because it's somewhat acrobatic looking.
Yeah, kids love it. Everyone loves it because it's really high energy, and it's very different than just standard dance.
Okay. And do we hire them? Are they a group that you hire?
So I don't know, because I don't handle that group. I don't manage that group. And that's why when I spoke to the director, he said, oh, he rather communicate with, the organization like you guys directly to kind of figure that out.
Okay.
So I don't know anything about their fee structure or anything.
And do they have an official name?
They do. Is it Diablo Yo-Yo? I can forward their email again.
Please do. Okay, I will contact him then. And let's see, we've got to give Jeff a job here too.
All right.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. Why don't we have? Well, Jeff, you're not familiar with the people from the Creative Arts in Burlington, are you?
I am not.
Okay. Are you familiar with any other cultural organization that might feature dance? It would be great to have hula, Pacific Islander.
No, I can't think of any organizations that I'm affiliated with that I know of that feature dance.
Can I give you a task then? Could
Sure.
you do some research and see if you can find anyone from Pacific Islander cultures that might have some dances? Sure. I know I went to a phenomenal hula show one time when I was in Raleigh, North Carolina. I mean, it was amazing. I mean, I it's funny because I think that sometimes people don't take it very seriously, but this was truly artistic and quite serious. It was wonderful. And of course, people who play Hawaiian ukulele, there's one particular man who is just an absolute genius, and I've been to 2 of his concerts. And I don't know if perhaps there's some Pacific Islander associations locally that have any kind of music or dance. So if you can do a little research on that.
Sure.
And Cheyenne is going to give me the yo-yo, and I'll find out and call the army, and I'll check some dates. And she's going to contact the people in Burlington. And why don't we plan, because if this is a good time, Thursdays at 7:30, according to the open meeting laws, I must give the town 72 hours notice before we can have a meeting. This is an official meeting. It's been recorded. So anyone can see it. So if we are going to have a meeting, let's say next week on April 6th, I actually have to pretty quickly ask them to reserve that time for us. Is this a good time for both of you normally? Thursday, 7:30 at night?
I'm available.
Yeah.
The April 6th, we're saying. So yeah, I am available next week.
Okay, I am going to ask, her name is also Sherry Dalton at Town Hall to reserve the Zoom for us, and Winnie will be available. And I'll send notes to you of the things we've discussed, and we'll have a little to-do list on it and things like that. But Jeff, what I'm going to need from you is an email address. And
Sure.
my email is just my name at gmail.com. There's no spaces, no punctuation.
Okay.
Okay, my name at gmail.com. And we'll report back next Thursday with what we found and move ahead.
Oh, and Sherry, I might have some more ideas.
Good.
I know Winnie's not here, but I have 2 classmates I just met, and one of them is a Sri Lankan and one is from India. I can
Ooh,
ask her if she knows of any other resources out there.
okay. And, you know, like I said, if the Academy of Creative Arts in Burlington doesn't work out, those are both South Asian
Yeah.
cultures.
The other
So
question I
that would be
have
great.
is, are they allowed any kind of food booth or anything like that?
If it's not cooked, if it's just served, we don't have to have a permit. Because like, yeah, so
what
if
do you
someone
mean?
just has, you mean to sell food?
Both, either.
I don't know about the selling. I know that they cannot prepare food unless we have a food permit. Because last week, on March 8th, we had baked goods. And because those were prepared in advance and just delivered, and then we had some beverages, and we had the female M&Ms with the high heels. So we were able to do that without a permit. But on town property, I don't think you can have any cooking unless we get a permit for that. And selling food, I'm not sure.
Like
Because
if
I
a vendor
know,
want to come and sell, certain kind of indigenous or, area food, can they, sort of booth, just like a lot of those fairs and festivals that they have, like a mini one.
right, I'm not sure they would have enough business to make it worth their while. Because I looked into food trucks one year, the Hispanic Heritage, and I contacted a whole bunch of them. And I had to guarantee a particular take.
Mhm.
And if they didn't make that much money, we would have had to pay the differential because it costs them to set up.
Sure.
I know that we could, conceivably, and this is a big job though, we could get food. We have different restaurants in town and in the community that have different kinds of food. If they would be willing to make donations for people to do tastings. We have certainly Thai, we have Maya's Indian food, there's Chinese, there's Japanese, but they would have to, and someone would need to coordinate getting their sponsorship donations for that kind of thing. And like I said, if it's only 4 of us and we're going to have our hands full just getting entertainment, maybe we should keep it simpler. I mean, I love
I actually
having
know
food.
Yeah, I also know a lady who actually makes, she's part of the, one of the language schools, and they actually do boba teas.
Bubble tea, I haven't had that yet.
And she can definitely, have like like a little booth. It's a boba tea. They're just basically, right, tea and milk and, and sugar and boba. But they can set up and we can do that. It's kind of like a little booth that they can sell the tea, basically.
I would love, that would be, I think that would be good. That after the performances, we invite people to, and, I can get cookies or whatever from the boat. I can pay for a tray of cookies. And then have someone who's selling bubble tea as the refreshment and have everyone try it. That would be terrific.
Yeah, and it's sealed up, so it won't spill. It's, they actually seal it up.
Well, the thing with doing it like at the high school is we do this across the hall in the cafeteria. We move across the hall. And that way we have appropriate space for everyone to stand around and socialize. And also, we still have, and Jeff, you may not have seen these. I made very, very large maps of the Asian nations, 48 of them, and the Pacific Island nations. And I actually put this up in town hall and have people of the cultures, they use the pearlized pin and they can pin their countries. And people who visited, who have actually traveled to these countries, get the smaller multicolored pins. And people actually did that. I had it up for a month and the thing was full of pins. And then I moved it to the library, which was even better than having it in town hall because more people go there. And I can arrange to have that there and then bring it with us to whatever performance we have. Like we had it with us last year. I also have an Asian Pacific Islander Jeopardy game that we created. That's participatory that we can bring for the reception part. So we can have some things going on in the reception part that's different than the performance part. And like I said, that works particularly well if we had it in the high school theater and use the cafeteria. Because we have the most spaces and plenty of parking and plenty of height. And, people sit in a rake stage, seats going up, and they can really see everybody doing their dancing and whatever. And there's good entry. Well, you've been in the high school, so there's a good wide entryway hallway for welcoming people. And I mean, I don't even know, and maybe you have a better idea of this than I do, because I haven't been able to get the demographics. How many different countries of Asia are represented in our community at all?
Yeah, I don't know.
What people's backgrounds are. And it's hard to tell because like Vanessa Wesley has a very anglicized name, but she's at least biracial. She's South Asian or something. So you look at her name and you'd never know. So names are no indication of anything. Winnie Carpenter. And she's from, I think family was from Taiwan.
I think she's from Taiwan, yeah.
Yeah. So it just, you don't know from people's names.
Oh, I just had another idea. There's a few households that actually are Nepalis.
Yep.
Are here in Wakefield, so we can
Really?
ask them.
Yep.
There's actually a restaurant too. I think it's Zuru. Is it Zuru? No, it's not Zuru. That's a ramen place.
No, there's a
That's
place
what I
called
think that's ramen.
Chulo's in Watertown that my husband actually band has performed in. That's Nepalese.
No, it's local here. I have to think of it. It's
Nepalese
Nepal,
restaurant here.
I think so. Yeah, it's a mix. Definitely a mix of some sort.
Oh wow!
And,
I'm
we
excited
actually,
to hear that.
They're friends. They're friends with the owner of that restaurant, so I'm sure that's why I asked about the food component, because I know that when Galvin did the international night, they actually had booth inside the cafeteria, and everybody had booth, and then they actually had a tasting too. It's like people can, if they want to contribute money, and everything. But it was really cool because then they had all kinds of posters up about the country, and
how-
people were managing them.
And how big was their committee of mothers that put this together and teachers? 50, 40?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I don't know
mean,
how they did it. It was amazing how they did
it's,
it.
believe me, it's gonna be
Yeah.
20, 30 people on the committee to do something like that. I love the idea, but I don't think it's truly possible for us. But if people who are Nepalese in some way could share something of their culture, because I don't think that most people in Wakefield would have a clue. And the only reason I know anything at all is because of Churros, the restaurant that we went to, and talked to the waiters and ate their food and looked at the decorations. And it was plus there's a Nepalese restaurant I've been to in Cambridge as well. But that would be great if we just even talked to them about what about their culture, what kind of music or dance might be appropriate here, or even something we just put on display.
Mhm.
But in the meantime, like I said, let's start. You're so full of great ideas, Shane, and I love you for that. You're just really a creative person. It's excellent. I love the bubble tea idea. If we have a small reception, I think that would be a simple way to introduce people to some beverage that's from Asia. I love the idea that we could possibly maybe have people who are, if not the creative arts people, and their dancing was fabulous, but perhaps dances from other Central South Asian cultures like Sri Lanka or Nepal that was somewhat less familiar to people. That would be really interesting to give them that kind of cultural understanding. And it's exciting to me because I haven't necessarily seen it either. But I always promise to keep these meetings short, and we've already been on the phone over a half hour. So let's get to work on what we said we would. I'll send you, quick summary and to-do list. And I'll schedule for next Thursday. We'll report back. We'll figure out what it is of the things that top of our list that we can do, and then we'll start filling in.
Yeah, that sounds good. And I'll forward the email link to those folks as well if they are available to join.
Great, thank you. And we actually now have about a 200-person email distribution list, the direct distribution list from the HRC. We've been collecting the names. And I've asked, and I don't think she did, I asked the chairperson who controls the list if she would send out information to people asking them if they'd like to get involved or join our committee to help with things. So perhaps we'll get some other people that might want to be involved with this, because it's fun. It does take time, but it's fun. But if we have enough of us, we divide it up, it will get done. And it'll be a wonderful event again for the town of Wakefield.
Sounds good. All right. So you'll let us know also back about the 27th, right?
Yes. I'm going to check all 3 dates and see what is available in town on any of those dates. And then, like I said, we can go from there. Thank you so much, Jeff, for joining us. Cheyenne, thank you for introducing him and for being a regular. I really appreciate it. I really do. Thank you so much.
But we're all in this together.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you,
Have a good
Shane, for
evening.
hosting again.
Thanks so much,
Okay.
Harry. I'll shoot you an email so you have mine.
Okay. Thank you. Bye bye
Okay.
now.
Bye-bye.